He says he'd return tomorrow. Ukraine's recently ousted defense minister is breaking his silence. Fedorov says powerful interests fought back against his reforms. He has also revealed a fundamental disagreement with Ukraine's former army chief. And if President Zelensky calls, his answer is already decided. Former Ukrainian Defense Minister Mykhailo Fedorov says he would 100% return to lead Ukraine's defense ministry if President Volodymyr Zelensky asked him, arguing that resistance to his sweeping procurement reforms played a major role in his dismissal earlier this month. In an extensive interview with Ukrainska Pravda, Fedorov gave his most detailed account yet of the events surrounding his removal, insisting he was never motivated by holding office for its own sake. Asked whether he would return if offered the position again, his response was unequivocal.
100%.
Fedorov said he had no interest in accepting what he described as a merely symbolic government role.
I really want people to understand that my goal is not to secure a job for myself. I was completely fine about not being in the government. That's okay. I don't need just any position. If I were to return to the government, given the mission I see for myself, it would have to be a position with real responsibilities. That is the Ministry of Defense.
Fedorov's dismissal sparked rare wartime protests in Kyiv and several other Ukrainian cities, with demonstrators calling for his reinstatement. 6 days later, President Zelensky replaced Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrskyi with Mykhailo Drapatyi. Fedorov believes one of the main reasons behind his removal was his effort to overhaul Ukraine's defense procurement system.
The Defense Ministry, and I as Minister, were beset by many people because we started restructuring a lot of internal processes. The reasons related to procurement, tenders, and the fact that we had started restructuring these processes made a lot of people very unhappy.
Fedorov revealed that months before his dismissal, he had warned President Zelensky that people whose interests were threatened might attempt to discredit him.
Around April, I warned the President, look, people are going to start coming to you saying that there's something wrong with me, that I have political ambitions, that I own drone companies, that I've violated certain processes, and so on. You need to cross-check this information with me, because I've stepped on the interests of a lot of people and companies. I need your support here.
Fedorov also rejected suggestions that his disagreement with then Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrskyi was driven by personal hostility.
There was no personal conflict with the Commander-in-Chief in the usual sense. It was more a difference in vision of how the war should be fought.
According to Fedorov, the disagreement centered on the speed of decision-making, giving younger commanders greater responsibility and ensuring military reforms continued without delay. Despite those differences, he insisted the Defense Ministry never blocked a single decision made by Syrsky or Ukraine's General Staff, saying the army's effectiveness had always remained the priority. Fedorov also dismissed reports that he had issued an ultimatum after losing his post. He said several alternative government positions were offered to him, but declined them because they lacked meaningful authority, describing them as decorative. While Ukraine's reshaped military leadership now moves forward under Acting Defense Minister Yevhen Kamara and Commander-in-Chief Mykhailo Drapatyi, Fedorov maintains that if he is asked to return and continue implementing his vision for the war, his answer remains unchanged: 100%. Ukraine's top general has done something almost unheard of during wartime. Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrskyi has publicly apologized to the country's former defense minister, urging Ukrainians to stop turning the war into a personal feud. But even as he called for unity, fresh reports suggest President Volodymyr Zelensky may already be preparing to replace him. With protests growing, political tensions rising, and the future of Ukraine's military leadership hanging in the balance, the battle inside Kyiv is becoming almost as intense as the one on the front line. In a personal column, Syrsky said he was surprised to learn that their relationship had been portrayed as a conflict, insisting he had viewed it as a professional working relationship where disagreements were natural during a major war.
If I offended someone with something, Mykhailo Albertovich, I'm sorry, I can be tough. But I ask you, and everyone following this story with such enthusiasm, to focus not on the personal, but on the global one, on victory.
Reducing the war to rivalry between two individuals plays directly into Russia's hands, Syrsky said.
Ukraine is bigger than Fedorov, Syrsky, or any of us, and that the country holds together precisely because of its army, institutions, and millions of other people doing their jobs. Not because any of them is irreplaceable. This war will be won by real work, not by the public drama around it.
He cautioned against society dividing into rival camps supporting either himself or Fedorov, stressing that Ukraine's strength came from its army, institutions, and millions of citizens rather than any single individual. However, Syrsky's appeal for unity came as reports emerged that his own position may be under threat. According to Bloomberg, President Volodymyr Zelensky is considering replacing Syrsky with Joint Forces Commander Mykhailo Drapati. The report, citing unnamed sources, said the Commander-in-Chief could be dismissed within days, although no final decision has been made. One source claimed Zelensky is reviewing a list of 11 potential candidates, with Drapati viewed as the leading contender. Meanwhile, in a post on X, Zelensky said,
I will continue determining what adjustments should be made to Ukraine's defense strategy and which production and military supply priorities must be implemented as quickly as possible. There were also many issues related to air defense and, accordingly, tasks for Ukraine's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and our diplomacy as a whole.
The reports follow days of protests across Ukraine after former Defense Minister Mykhailo Fedorov was dismissed during a cabinet reshuffle. Demonstrators, including serving soldiers and military veterans, have demanded Fedorov's return and called for Syrsky to be removed instead. Despite the speculation, Ukraine's General Staff has officially denied reports that Syrsky has been dismissed. Responding to criticism that he opposes drone warfare, Syrsky strongly rejected the accusation, pointing out that he personally created the Unmanned Systems Forces as a separate military branch and recommended its current commander to President Zelensky.
I was the one who created the Unmanned Systems Forces as a separate branch of the military. I personally recommended Magyar to the president to lead the USF. It was an unpopular decision, and I took full responsibility for it.
He further argued that while drones now account for a significant share of Russian losses, modern warfare cannot rely on drones alone.
Drones account for a large share of enemy losses today. That is a fact. But to prepare the battlefield for drones to operate effectively, you need artillery, mortars, engineering equipment, air defense, electronic warfare, and dozens of other capabilities.
As Ukraine continues its fight against Russia, uncertainty over its military leadership continues to grow. Whether Syrsky remains in command or a new commander is appointed, the decisions made in Kiev over the coming days could shape both the country's battlefield strategy and confidence in its wartime leadership.